At the time of recording, it is 5:22 a.m. This is the pinnacle of responsible adulthood. And yeah, that's right. I'm an adult now. I'm 18. I was actually 18 several months ago as of the making of this video, but I procrastinated this because, I don't know, life, I've just been busy. Oh my gosh, what is happening to my game? Hold up, hold up. But I finally decided to make this video so I could move on with my life and stress about other things because I really wanted to make this video. I thought it'd be important. Maybe the most important video on my channel to date. That might be the title. Clickbaited yet, didn't I? And I'll get into why in a second. So let me enter it. So I actually, believe it or not, stole this video idea from another YouTuber that I used to watch a long time ago, way back in like 2022, a couple years ago. Um, and I tried to find the video now for like reference and research purposes to give him credit, but I'm pretty sure it's either unlisted or just straight up deleted. So there's no way of showing credit to it, but shout outs to Connor Pugs, who makes weird videos now. I wouldn't really recommend watching them now, but he was an inspiration for me making my channel, because he was just a chill guy who would just talk about life and stuff. And he made a video um, when he turned 18 called something along the lines of the most important video on my channel, and it was about basically everything he had learned throughout his first 18 years of life. Like, into becoming an adult, what are the most valuable things he's learned? Shade Winter, who's that? Just an e-boy skin? That's not helpful at all. And I have no money either. This is going really bad. Okay. Can I hide in the painting? Hold on, let me try and parkour this. Ooh. Ha. Dang it, I can't. Oh no. That is running for my life, running for my life. Nope. Yeah, I'm dead. Well, that didn't last very long. And I remember at the time when I watched the video, I was like, I have to do this for myself because even back then, I already felt like I learned some important things that I needed to share. So in this video, okay, hold up. I'm just gonna hide over here. In this video, I'm going to basically give some like advice or life lessons. This guy is so suspicious. Oh, I guess it's not them. Whoa, they're all suspicious. I don't like this. That person's definitely. Yeah, I don't trust them. I don't trust anyone. Um, so I just wanted to give some like life lessons that I wish uh teenage potato bagel just knew a bit sooner. Ah, you know what? I'm not playing this game anymore. And in addition to that, I'll also just try and share some things that I think are important, maybe like that I did learn or know pretty early on in life, but I think some people just don't know. Um, and so I'll be talking about those as well, because I think there are some important things that pretty much everyone should know, but then they just don't. And it's kind of just depressing, and I want to make sure we can change that, or I can try to change that. So I'll be doing that too, if I can uh, remember what I just talked about while trying to play this game. I think the thing that I wish young Potato Bagel had known way sooner was to just not waste his life away. During my formative years, like I'm talking middle school into high school, I spent a lot, and I mean a lot, I keep messing this up, of time just playing video games, or watching YouTube, amongst other things. And I had a lot of fun with that. I made some decent friends through it, and plenty of memories with like siblings, and stuff. So some good definitely came from it, but I wouldn't exactly say it was the best thing for me. I think in a lot of ways it deprived me of some things that some experiences that other kids had, you know? Um, and I think in a lot of ways I kind of wasted my life a little bit. I think I could have spent time putting more effort in school or even trying like sports. Maybe spend more time doing music instead of just opting to play video games because it felt easy. Granted, in my defense, part of it was just because it I grew up during COVID, so I was just depressed and wanted an easy way to pass my time. So I can't really blame young Potato Bagel for that. But even before that, I would just constantly uh, play games, and it really wasn't the best use of my time. And I kind of regret that. I really think that for anyone young that's watching out there, try and make the most out of the time you have. Because once that's up, it's just gone and you're older. And it's even though I'm still young, obviously, it's harder to do things when you're older. So I think taking advantage of the free time you have now to just do as many things as you can and trying to be productive and maybe like learn something or explore different interests. It's definitely worth it now rather than later. And then speaking of which, I want to talk about some of those things that I did do that I think other people should do that I learned were just were good things to do. And I think one of the biggest ones was going out in nature. I'm like a really big fan. Like, I will tell pretty much everyone that I can that they should just go outside. Do not stay in your house. Do not, maybe it's playing video games or just watching television or what's another thing? Maybe you'd rather scroll on your phone all day. Please, please go outside, like in nature. I get to the mall or something with friends. Obviously, that sounds really fun, and I'm not gonna tell people what they can and can't do, but I think people fail to understand that we are, in a way, animals and should be out in actual nature experiencing the outdoors. Not only is it just healthy for you, it's just an amazing experience. You just connect more to the world around you and just understand just how important and amazing and beautiful the world around us is. I think it just gives people a greater appreciation for the world around them, and it's just a very healthy thing to do. For full To tell you how I learned this lesson, it was actually what I mentioned earlier. During COVID, I would just stay inside, play video games a lot. And then eventually, when I did start leaving my house, I would go on walks by myself, just exploring the places around me. And it was a ton of fun. I saw places that were right around my neighborhood, or right around the corner, that I never knew existed. And it really helped me to get a better sense of where I lived, and it was just a really fun time. I had this amazing sense of excitement at whatever I would find, and I felt at peace just being in nature. And ever since, I've always tried to find opportunities to be in nature, either by myself or with friends or family. You don't always have to do this alone. I definitely recommend, if you can, doing it with people you care about and enjoy being around. That makes it even better. But I think if everyone has the opportunity to, they should look for ways to be in nature. Actually finished the parkour, that's crazy. I think part of my encouragement for being in nature is just my love of like finding new things and my curiosity. it's always just exciting to go out and explore something that I haven't seen before. Um, I think part of that passion was created not only through my experience of doing so, but through a show called Hilda, which I always wanted to talk about and probably will make a video on someday. But what am I doing? But I think that show also gives an idea of the kind of wonder and just majesty that nature can have, and what makes it just so great. Uh, and sort of gives an idea of what. Hold on, my boost. What makes going outside and being in nature just such a healthy and uh, just such a healthy and like wondrous thing to do. Um, so I highly recommend, if you want to sort of understand my perspective, try watching that show a little bit. It's on Netflix. If you have a Netflix subscription, it's very good, and it definitely shaped my views in a lot of ways about nature and the like. And I think relating to this topic is something else that I think is super important, especially for anyone who's like really not really young, but like not coming of age yet, or still probably in like their formative years, like not fully matured yet. So that would include me too. And that's just trying new things. Dang it. Uh, like I would say that going out in nature is one of those things, but if you have the ability to, and to the best that you can, you should just try everything. Um, it's always good to experience new things and sort of expand your ex- um, expand your worldview and just the range of of life that you've experienced. Does that make sense? And also, you never are gonna know what you like or dislike until you try it. And that's something I definitely had to learn, because I think there's a lot of things that I just assumed I wouldn't like, so I pushed it away when, in fact, I ended up really enjoying those. Dang it! Why does all back? Anyways, I ended up really enjoying them, and these things could be like a food, um, or maybe some kind of music or other piece of art. Maybe you thought you wouldn't like poetry, and then you start reading some, and you're like, "Oh, this is great," which kind of happened to me. I recently become a bigger fan of reading and looking at poetry than I thought. It could be like any type of art form, sport, leisure activity, maybe a place you thought you wouldn't like, a food again. What else? Maybe it could be a different type of like person. Like you think, oh, I won't fit this well, fit fit really well with this type of person, but then maybe you will, because you didn't think of this thing that you had in common, or they had this personality trait that makes them really easy to talk to, or something like that. Uh, there's just so much that you don't know, that it's never a good idea to not try something unless you've heard from like a reputable source. Like I wouldn't try, I don't know, what's a good example? Like I wouldn't try starting a fight with someone who's been in jail, because that's just not gonna end well for you, you know? Like have common sense about it, or like maybe your friends like, don't try this restaurant because they have food poisoning. Then you should trust your friend. But when you get the chance to try, do, just experience anything new, you should go for it, because you'll never know if you're gonna like it or not. It might be the next biggest thing. A good example in my life is creative writing. I took it in high school, just on a whim. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to write stories. It's probably one of the best classes I ever took, and I wasn't even sure if I was gonna like it. Um, so there's things like that where it can literally just change your life in a way, and really open up your mind to something new. So I really encourage anyone watching to just try something new. Maybe this week do something a little bit different and see what happens. Like creative writing literally worked out so well for me that I ended up getting a scholarship award for to help me pay for college, which was really useful. So it can really produce some good things when you try something new. So don't let like fear or maybe just distrust of something like stop you, because it could in a way just be life changing. The next thing that I want to talk about is a bit more serious, but it's a lesson that I wish I knew, and it has to do with mental health and relationships. So this isn't a story I've told many people, so it might be a bit weird putting it on putting it out on YouTube, but I think it's important, so I'm gonna do my best to explain it. But um, basically, I mentioned earlier how I was a super depressed kid during quarantine. I feel like most people were, because you know, just being locked inside your house with not really seeing anyone. It's just not good in general. And when you think the world's ending, it doesn't really do um anything good for your outlook on life, to put it one way. Um, so I was in a decently dark place, and so I turned to the internet. I played video games, and I made some friends, and I did my best to try and have fun. But when I was during that time, when I was playing games with other people on the internet, I learned a really valuable lesson. People on the internet are really messed up. Pretty much everyone, well, not pretty much everyone, but a decent amount of people I ended up meeting, probably partially due to COVID, were just about, if not like doubly, as messed up mentally as I was. They were just broken people, which is fine, you know, like I can't really blame them. Everyone has their own issues. But the problem is then they would take those issues out on me. Like, I would usually try and be nice and be like, oh, hey, how's your day going? Because I care about that stuff and I care about other people. And then usually I'd end up talking to them about their problems and their mental health. Uh, which is fine if it's like a close friend, but this ended up becoming like a recurring thing, like a daily thing with several people. And at the time, I had almost this like savior complex of being like, oh, I can help these people, I can be a good friend and try and make their life better, because I thought I was meeting these people for a reason, and I thought maybe that was my calling. But what I didn't realize is I can't entirely change someone's life, because I ended up putting so much pressure on myself to try and help other people that I damaged my own mental health and was literally causing myself to break from the stress of trying to look out for other people. Um, and through that, I learned a very valuable lesson to know your limits when it comes to caring for and supporting others. At some point, you can't do anything for someone, and they have to make their own changes in life. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. You have to realize when um, you need to prioritize your own mental health and not sacrifice everything for another person. Basically, take care of your own mental health and self first instead of someone else's. It's something I had to learn the hard way, uh, and it definitely was a big reality check that you can't make everything right just on your own. People need to do it themselves. And that's of course not to say that you shouldn't try and support your friends, and it's not an excuse for treating someone awfully, because I never want that to happen, but I think the important takeaway of it all, and something I really wish I had also known as a kid, is that you should take care of yourself. You should, have proper hygiene, which I did for the most part. You should do things that you enjoy, or you enjoy, that bring you comfort when, like, maybe you get stressed. And you should always, maybe not always, put your needs first, but know when you're overstepping your boundaries and are intentionally making yourself go through things that you don't need or shouldn't have to go through. Okay, so off the top of my head, I think that's pretty much every lesson I've learned myself that I would want other people, especially young Potato Bagel, to know. But there are a couple things that I've sort of, I want to say, like, always known, or just that are parts of me that I think other people should value as well. Um, like, young Potato Bagel already knows, but I think a lot of other people just don't. So I'm gonna talk about those, like, one or two things now. And the first one is probably one of the things that I care about the most, and that is empathy. In case you couldn't tell from my whole mental health rant that I just did, like, 30 seconds ago, um, I really think that you shouldn't serve your own self-interest, and you should support other people. Um, and you should always try to make a conscious effort of understanding what another person is going through or thinking. You can't always assume the worst about someone, and just because someone may disagree with you or do something that you don't like, that doesn't mean you can assume the worst, and you have to try and understand where they are coming from before, at the very least, making a judgment, if you're making a judgment at all, which I don't really know if you should be. I believe that empathy is one of the things that makes us human, and definitely it puts us, like, above animals, because at least to my knowledge, most animals don't really have that. Like, that and just very good communication is kind of what sets humans apart from other animals, uh, just in nature and in the world. And that's why I think it's super important that everyone should try to understand where someone is coming from before acting or making a judgment. And it saddens me that most people don't, and instead they choose to act on only their own perceptions and their own, I don't want to say values, what do I say, desires, like their own greed. They're like, I want this, and I can't understand what anyone else may need or want or anything like that. They only care about themselves, and that's probably, like, one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate that, and I think everyone should really try to um, empathize with other people instead of acting in their own self-interest. And I think not acting in your own self-interest at least kind of relates to the other thing that I just think everyone should do and know, and that's to, like, just keep an open mind. I I think most people will act like their their way of thinking or their beliefs are just correct all the time, and they're never willing to think of other counterpoints or other ideas. They can't. Nobody can really recognize any any correctness, any truth in what anyone else has to say, and I think that's dumb. I think people should keep an open mind and really think about the words of others and not just whatever they think. I think a lot of people are just unwilling to admit that they can be wrong or incorrect, and just instead choose to believe that they're always right. And that's another thing that I just really don't like. People who just only think that their way of like living or acting, just their beliefs, maybe even just some like common knowledge or whatever, that they are right and no other possible viewpoint or perspective is remotely close. Even when they're wrong, they're not going to admit it. Like, even in the face of just pure fact, like undeniable fact, they will still try and act like they're right, because they just can't admit that they're wrong. And I think that's something we definitely need less of, if, I don't know, if we just want, like, you know, actually decent people to exist in the world. I think the hallmark of a decent person is not only like empathy that I talked about earlier, but being able to admit that you're wrong. And dang it, why do I keep messing this up? Being able to admit that you're wrong, and being able to keep an open mind to different perspectives, so you can at the very least be challenged, and maybe be able to change your beliefs. Or even if you don't feel like changing them, you can find a way of strengthening them by listening to other people instead of being so hard-headed that you can only see things from your perspective. What? Huh? Wait, where do I go? Oh, right, this way. Sorry if that last one was a little bit, opinionated. I just can't get over people who always think they're on the right, especially because I know I'm wrong, like, a ton. Like, I say dumb crap, and just, I say things without thinking a ton, and so I realize what being able to admit you're wrong, or being able to admit that you don't know something, that's okay, and if anything, it's encouraged, because I think it shows you're wise enough to just not jump into something with no knowledge, just not being a fool, I guess, you know? You're respectful and aware enough to back off when someone else understands something much better than you may ever will. But with that being said, I don't think I have much left to say. There's probably more lessons I've learned over the years, because, you know, over 18 years, you definitely pick up a thing or two. But those are the most important ones that I think younger me should have known, and I wish I didn't have to learn the hard way. Or some lessons that I think everyone should know, and I'm glad I didn't have to learn that one the hard way. Thank you very much for watching to the end of this video. I don't know why you chose that. I genuinely do think this video is very important, not only to me, but I hope it's important to others, because I think you could definitely pick up a thing or two from it. And I hope that in like a year from now, when I'm 19, a year through college, I'll come back and make another video about anything else I've learned, or maybe something I forgot that I think is important. That's the idea with these, to show people how I've grown as a person, and to also maybe just give people some life advice or ideas that they hadn't thought about before, because I think some of the things I talk about are very important lessons. At least they were to me, so I hope they were to others as well. Yeah, this has been a very long recording. It's already like 6 a.m., so maybe I should go sleep now, or just do something more productive. I don't know if I'll even be making any more videos anytime soon because I'm just bad at life. Depends, I guess, on what college is like, you know. Man, it's hard to believe how much I've grown up, how much life has changed, and also how much it's stayed the same. It's very odd, but I'm glad to have gone through it. And for anyone else who's stuck with me through it, or will continue to stick with me through it, or who's just stopping by along for the ride, thank you. Hope you have a good day, night, whatever time it is for you, in whatever place you are. Yeah. Anyways, give somebody love a hug, and I will see you later.